interesting creature is an anime based on something foreign, I wonder what other people usually see in it. Let's say, for example, that for reasons unknown, some famous Japanese studio had decided to adapt your local work as their own. How are you going to feel about it? A sense of patriotic pride that finally something from your culture has been spotted by the Japanese? A sense of dread when you realize that the studio adapting it is made out of one dude and a freezer full of expired pudding? A sense of aggressive indifference because you didn't even know your country made this thing in the first place? Well, if Radiant, all the old anime based on American literature and this new god of high school has taught me anything, is that without knowing beforehand that the source material isn't Japanese, you're not going to feel a lot of difference. Sure, the names aren't the exact same and there are quirks, but skip all of that and they might as well be adapted from some indie light novel. Incidentally, God of High School is a 13-episode anime developed by MAPPA based on a popular South Korean webtoon of the same name about a 17-year-old taekwondo user Jin Mori and his ragtag group of friends enrolling into an epic martial arts tournament, but little do they know that behind the facade of an innocent test of might lies a deep and sinister, it's magic. And the story quickly devolves into teenagers with superpowers fighting God. And Jin himself is... well, in order to not spoil it entirely, just imagine a popular mythological character from the East who is super famous, super strong, and featured in fucking everything up to brand dildos. Yes, that character. The plot of the show can be safely described as a tournament arc in a shonen, and it wouldn't be even that much of an insult. We have a cast of colorful characters with interesting fighting styles, kicking the shit out of each other and learning whatever it is they need to become stronger and whatever else they need to do. The biggest and the most original thing about God of Soggy Trousers is that unlike pretty much every other shonen anime, it doesn't faff around and cuts straight to the chase. The show's pace is almost breakneck, fights are quick, monologues and dialogues are kept to the most functional bare minimum, and the story is pretty much as easy to digest as they come, and that's both the weakest and the strongest point of the show. I can perfectly imagine a person that likes this sort of presentation. It's probably going to be the same guy that likes when a harem protagonist isn't a floor mat or a shared sex toy, and he would be overjoyed by seeing everything he sees, that the fighting is quick and doesn't get interrupted by monologues or people unlocking some second wins or some pointless story about the character that we'll only see in this arc is very sad. Such a person will remember this anime as being very cool and how all anime tournaments should go in the future. What more could you possibly wish for, you stubborn knob? Well, for starters, the part about it not doing second wins and pointless stories is a blatant lie. Sure, you can argue that the marriage episode was required for character development, but it doesn't change the fact that it was basically a waste of an episode. Then we go to the later parts of the show, where the main hero masters the also important technique of pulling stuff out of his ass the moment the show can't just give him a cheap win. And that's me also being generous and not mentioning the backstories of other contestants few people would give a shit about. And this isn't me criticizing the show, mind you. There is a reason for why everything the way it is. If they would cut anything more out of it, it might as well be just a string of music videos with fight scenes. But that's my biggest problem with the show. In trying to make it as streamlined of an experience as possible, they had to ditch the traditional character development. You know, the reason why all of those tournament fights have long monologues that go for 3-7 episodes per fight. The story isn't hard to grasp, but only the main trio gets the required characterization moments, whilst others get scraps at best and are just window dressings at worst, never to be seen again after an episode. So to summarize, if you just want to see people punching each other with some cool music, then this is the anime for you. People who care about the story may be slightly interested, but not overly impressed, and people who like something more substantial will see basically a string of fight scenes with a dime store plot about gods and shit. It could be worse, I suppose. Could be an anime about mandatory penis inspections.